Okay, so I'm Karen Gardner, and the course that I taught was EN 455, which is an Advanced Studies in Writing course. And I have provided you with the course description that was on my syllabus. But what I really want to say is that the course revolved around writing. That's the name of the course, Advanced Studies in Writing. And so I wanted the focus of the students to be on writing. But we know that students write better when they write about something they're very, very interested in. And how to come up with that thing that a whole group of students from all over the country are interested in. Turns out I actually had a student from Australia. So if I had decided on a topic, it would have just gone out the window the first day. So I let them choose, but within a really rigid framework. I asked them to do some research, initial research on Ancestry.com to discover their relatives who were alive during the Great Depression. And then I asked them to pick one person that they knew nothing about in their family history and to do research to recover that one person. And that was the entire work of our semester, was for them to recover a family member that had been lost to history and to figure out how to do that and then to write about it. And I think it worked really, really well. So the experiential learning opportunities within the course, first centered on Ancestry.com, students choosing their own topic, doing the initial research, and then making that choice. Who to choose, who's lost, what can I find out about this person, who am I interested in. Then we, throughout the course of the semester, the students wrote 2 major essays, a lot of shorter writing pieces, but 2 major essays that they revised and revised and revised and revised and revised. I did that 5 times because that's how many revisions they went through. They revised a shorter piece that was descriptive in nature. They had to describe something that was associated with the person they had chosen, some object or place that was associated with the person. One student's great-great-grandfather liked to fish, and so she wrote about his tackle box, that sort of thing. The longer piece was a profile of the person they had selected. And we took these pieces that they wrote, and a few of the smaller pieces too, and we put them into a digital mapping project using the expertise of the Digital Humanities Office here on campus. And I'll show you the website in just a minute, but we came up with a website and a map that has all the locations across the world that these students' selections of their family members came from. We also contributed an annotated resources tab to items in the Hool special collections that had not previously been described or annotated, so the students actually, in addition to doing their own writing, did some public writing for the benefit of the library. And finally, the last thing that the students did to benefit a public audience was they made a presentation at the end of the semester to, they did a brown bag luncheon for the faculty. And I was surprised. I had expected, it was the Thursday of study week, dead week, nothing going on. And I had expected nobody to be there, and it was a full house. We had standing room only. So they really got to showcase what they did in a public forum. So it was really exciting. Okay, so this is, I'm not pulling up the website because I have 5 to 7 minutes, and I get sucked into this thing. And if I showed you everything I was proud of, we would be here for all afternoon. But in any case, there's the website, and you're welcome to go find it. As you can see, this is the home page. You can go to the map and see how spread out across the country our results were. There are some photos that the students liked particularly. This was an optional assignment that they described. Those are there. Their descriptive essays, their personal profiles, the resources from the Hool Library, all there. So I encourage you to go and see. And see, this is another public opportunity for the students to share their work. So that's what it looks like when you get there. Okay, so some important student learning outcomes based on the ELO. The ones that are highlighted in red are the ones, these are from my syllabus. The ones that are highlighted in red are the ones I anticipated before I taught the course. Those are the ones I anticipated being the chief things that they would learn in the course. After teaching the course and after talking with the students and after looking at my course evaluations, the two that actually were the most important were the first one, which I was so excited about because that's what it has to do with writing. So that makes me know that it worked, that the writing happened, and they learned, they felt at the end of the course that that was what they had accomplished most, was writing knowledge. And the last one, collaboration. And that really made me excited. Excuse me, I'm ahead of my notes. So, and collaboration, I think, because the collaboration really drove all the rest. Everything we did all day, every day was collaboration. The writing feedback, the research, all that kind of thing. So, I wanted to share with you some of those SOIs and let you see the writing and collaboration improvement. The experiential component of this course has been so absolutely amazing for my writing and critical thinking skills. We had so many opportunities to peer review each other's papers. I loved all the collaborative efforts in the class. My writing has improved greatly through the rigorous peer reviews of each paper over the course of the semester. It taught me to be mindful of wordiness. You know, wordy 2 sentences. My writing and research skills have improved dramatically because of this course. I was forced to pay more attention to the smallest details of my writing, which in turn transformed my work significantly. I'm a better researcher, writer, and editor because of this course. We did extensive peer review that boosted my confidence and helped me to more easily share my work with others. I discovered resources that the campus offers that I did not know existed previously. So I think pretty obviously what we did worked. The experiential nature of the course, the idea of learning in action. So how the ELO has assisted students in developing problem-solving skills. This is from the website, what happens when people in the places they inhabited are lost to passing time, etc. So these were the guiding questions for the course and how I put the course together. And these are some of the things that we did that turned out to be really good problem-solving tasks. They learned to use Ancestry.com. A lot of them said on the first day of class, and they had no idea what the class was. No, and they took it because they needed an extra 400 level course to graduate, and they were not aware of what they were getting into, but nobody dropped. So when they all said, wow, I've always wanted to learn how to do Ancestry.com. Really? We're going to do that in an English class? Wow. So we learned to use that, and they located through that a lost relative. One problem solved. They learned how to use the library archives. These were seniors. They had never been to Hoole, did not even know it existed on campus. But they used resources from Hoole quite extensively in their profile papers. They learned to collaborate. They were timid at first. They didn't want to share. In fact, most of them told me when they came to class that they were seniors. They were about ready to graduate. There wasn't anything I could teach them about writing. They were already good. And they were. But boy, did they learn that they weren't quite good enough for the different audiences that this project forced them to think about. And finally, to share their work in a public forum. One of my students said she had always wanted to do a blog, but she had been very, very nervous because she didn't think her writing was good enough to do that. And at the end of this, and we created a blog using WordPress. So at the end of the semester, she said, I'm going home this summer, I'm going to start my blog. So here they are, learning in action. And again, collaboration was crucial to the success of this project. Here they are at the brown bag lunch, and they really, really, Heather can tell you, they did a great job making the presentation.
It was impressive. I asked Karen, so how many times did you practice before you did the brown bag? And she's like, we didn't practice. I mean, all of the students I guess because of the nature of their collaborative work over the semester, picked up on each other's ideas in a very natural way. They were able to provide additional ideas that echoed but didn't overlap completely and added extra benefit to what another person had said. I would have thought that they had spent extensive hours doing that work and was shocked when Karen said, no, we just...
And they put the presentation together entirely by themselves, brainstorming around the table, sharing the same way they shared everything else. And I wanted to add that I was part of the collaboration. I've never really had the nerve to do this before, but I told them to consider me one of their colleagues, one of their peers in class, rather than their teacher, and I collaborated alongside them. I did research, I selected a relative of my own. I did the same research and the same sources that I asked them to use, and I wrote the same essays. I even they peer reviewed mine, but I also sought out Brooke Champagne, peer reviewer of my level in the English department, to read my essay also, so that I could get genuine peer feedback, and before I published mine, because I published mine's in here too.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I didn't publish it except here.
It's amazing, so,
yeah.
but anyway, that's.
So, so this is, I've been teaching for 30 years, and this is the best thing a student has ever written on a student evaluation. Dr. Gardiner learned alongside us and went out of her way to make us feel like she was not our superior, but rather our learning partner. Wow. Letting go of the reins, that's what I wanted to talk about. The biggest challenge I thought I was going to have when I started the course was the organic nature of it. I didn't know where the students were from, so I didn't know how to anticipate course readings. I didn't know how to anticipate what kinds of research they were going to need to do. We got to class the first day. One of my students was from Australia. We had to revise the map and add it and make a world map instead of a United States map. And that was a problem for all of us, but we worked through it together. I couldn't shape the research in advance. I guessed at some of the readings, but turned out some of them we had to throw out because they just didn't apply to the group of kids I had. So it was kind of scary going into a course not having any idea what was going to happen. So I wanted to say that was the biggest challenge, but it was also the biggest reward. The students learned and they enjoyed the learning because it was their learning. It was something they wanted to do, and they really got involved in it and they learned it. And so the research and writing mattered to them, and that to me was the value of this experiential learning experience.
Thank you.